we will start at the end of a seam. Start going around. We're at the point where that you can see the base of the. Let's adjust that camera a little bit. So we're done expanding the dice bag. It's out to its full size. So we can just go round and round and round till we get a couple rows in. I want to, let's see here, the expansions were 8 rows. So we want to do, I think, double that. So we'll do 16 rows beyond the expansion. And then I just posted a video talking about how I want to reverse the bottom of basically what I did on the top. What I did on the top was I have 6 triangles that are the contractions to bring in the top of the dice bag. We'll run some leather cord through there and close it up real nice. And then I put a seam of elf weave to make it rigid. But the elf weave is on the inside of the dice bag, the protruding aspect of it. And that makes the top rigid around those 6 triangular contractions, right? You'll be on Twitch in a few, but TikTok is looking good. Can't hear music here if it's playing. Just turned up on my computer a little bit. I can't have music too loud in front of me, so my phone might not be picking up the speakers. But I turned up a little bit. If I have music on too loud, I can't think to say anything. So, but thank you for the update. I do appreciate you. Alright. So essentially, once we get done building the body of the dice bag, we'll just reverse what we did on top. And we'll make it so that the protruding portion of the elf weave is on the outside of the dice bag rather than the inside, as that really forces the closures to be, like, I don't know, aggressively closing. Like, the nature of the weave forces it to want to bend in on itself. And it's just a cool aspect, trying to use it to my advantage. So we got a long way to go before we get there. I did count up all the rings outside of on this edge I'm working on. I counted up all the rings and it came to 96, which means that I doubled the body of the dice bag. It started out as 48 rings around, and now is is now 96 rings. So 48 rings around at the top, 96 in the body, which means that I may have made a mistake or two, but I'm pretty close to being dead on with all the seams and expansions and contractions. I thought it was going to be 102, but I miscalculated in my head the seams do not actually add a ring in between each expansion. So I didn't need to add those. There would be 6 additional rings if the seams added a ring, but they are not. And who knows, I could have miscounted as I was going around and just fortunately came up with 96 is the number. That's also totally possible. Let's not put that past me. It's good now. The music is good now. Thank you, Jeep and Jamber. I appreciate you being here. And for just coming to hang out. Come on. All right. So, how's everyone today? I hope everyone had a good day. I had one of the most unproductive days I've had in a while. I didn't get down here to do any work. So I've got sleep apnea. So I have the fighter jet sleep apnea mask. And I routinely wear it. I'm a compliant patient in that regards. But I woke up this morning and did not feel like I had gotten any sleep. I ate some, took my kid to school, ate some breakfast, and then promptly passed out for 2 hours. And shortly after that, it was like 11 o'clock when I got up. 12 o'clock when I finally started moving. And then, let's see here. By noon when I had gotten moving, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to go pick up my son in just a minute. And then there's not going to be any time to get anything done. There was time, but I just was not in the mental space to do it. There wasn't really anything to do. Nothing urgent anyway. So eventually got my kid from school. We went shoe shopping. He's growing like a weed, so we routinely have to ask him, okay, do your clothes fit? Do your shoes fit? How's everything going? And of course he says, it's fine, everything fits, everything's fine. Okay, now you're on. How's it hanging? It's hanging well, Jeep and Jamber. So, the constant battle of upkeep with 9-year-old. You didn't get any coiling done today like you intended? Got plenty of other stuff done, though? You've been cold almost the entire day. Yeah, I had to turn the heat on this morning here. It was in the 50s inside the house. 30 degrees outside. I was like, yeah, let's warm it up a little bit. So, but we went clothes shopping. And I'm very much into getting clothes that are comfortable and fit correctly, as opposed to finding something I like and trying to fit into it. So I found 2 flannels that I like the design on them, but they didn't fit right. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to spend my money on them. I did pick up a hoodie and a Shrek t-shirt, and can't go wrong with a Shrek t-shirt. They did have a Legend of Zelda t-shirt at Kohl's, but They didn't have one of my size. My size is fat. They didn't have fat size for me. So, I didn't get it. We got my kiddo some shoes and some shirts, and he was wearing this lighter colored t-shirt, and he had these red marks, like they looked like marker marks up on his chest. It fluffy sized, yeah. He had these he was wearing this light colored shirt, almost white, and had these red marks up near the top of his chest. I was like, what is this? What is going on here? And he's like, I don't know what it is. And then I quickly realized that I had packed him flaming hot Cheetos for lunch. And it was the exact same shade of red on the top of his shirt. Right? So I was like, okay, did you use your t-shirt as a napkin while you were at school? He's like, no, I didn't do that. Uh-huh, sure, buddy. For shame not getting the Zelda shirt. They didn't have one in my size. I'd totally get one otherwise. I'm at the stage where I'm not growing up, I'm growing out. And so I have to be particular about getting things that... Oscar Garcia, thank you for the follow. I have to be particular about making sure stuff fits. Speaking of follows, so last night we had a gentleman named James, I think it was, talking about getting on the 7-day trial for TikTok to go live on there, and I looked into the offer, and it's the same offer I've been looking at. I just didn't realize that you start with a 7-day trial, and then from there you can go to their 180-day trial. Right, but you still have to have the 10,000 followers to be able to stream using your PC. You were just going to ask about the trial? Yeah. So please like and share the stream and follow and hang out and all that cool stuff, because the sooner I get to 10,000 followers, the sooner I can stop using my phone to stream on TikTok, which seems just cheesy, seems cheap, chintzy. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful that it works, but okay. So, after shopping, we got home and did dinner and got the kitchen cleaned up, and now I'm down here trying to get something done. I think we need to do 16 rows. Right? These expansions that we added on, this trapezoid, is 8 rows. So if we want to go from 8 rows outward expansion down and then 8 rows in order to make that look normal, I think it's 16 rows. So yeah, I didn't get down here and I didn't look into the... I was able to look into the trial on my phone and figure out that it was the same standard offer that I've been seeing. So I also didn't get down here to fix the music selection, so we're still stuck. I glanced at it before I started streaming, and in order to get Pretzel Rock Pro, which I thought I had, and maybe that's the issue, maybe my subscription ended or something. But in order to get that, I gotta sign up for their subscription, so it could have, my subscription could have stopped for some reason. I don't know. I don't mind paying to have music that is copyright free. Badger followed the host. Thank you, Badger. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you being here. I don't mind paying $71.88 in order to avoid copyright infringements on YouTube. So I will figure that out. Do I have my brace down here? I do. I need to put my brace on. This is preventing me from... Hang on. My brace is falling apart. I need a new one. Alright, so I need a new brace, and I gotta pay for music so that we can listen to music while we hang out. So buy stuff from mailworks.com. Oh, to sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. All right. Yeah, go to mailworks.com and find something that you love, and that way I can forward a new brace for my hand so it's not falling apart. I'm just kidding. I can afford a brace, but I do appreciate people purchasing stuff I've designed, because it makes me feel good about the work I've put in, and it helps out with getting stuff for the stream to make it cooler. Make a brace in mail with EDM rings. Nice. We should contact one of those 3D printers and see if they can do a scan of a 3D scan of my wrist and put a brace, 3D print a brace for me. That'd be a fun collaboration. I've only seen one person with a 3D scanner, though. When I was deployed, I had some physical therapists who did a lot of the bracing and cast work for anyone that was injured out there. Like we worked with Romanians, Brits, Americans, third country nationals, and detainees. And so anytime someone came in that was wounded, that, you know, had a broken arm, broken leg, or whatever, they'd work with physical therapy, and they would build a ton of different braces. And one of the guys, he's like, yeah, maybe you could make a chainmail brace for us one day. I was like, yeah, absolutely. But it turned out he was just messing with me. But with some EDM rings, you might be able to make something useful. Oh, man. I remember the physical therapist in my last job. He was one of the best physical therapists I've ever worked with. Everybody he worked with got better. And I assume because that they all kind of said he was not mean, but what's the word? Like, I'm physical therapy and I'm here to heal you and you will participate kind of deal. Can run steel rods in places for rigidness if oriented right. You could do it. I'm just going to go to CVS and buy a brace, man. Stern. Yes, he's very stern. Everybody he worked with did very well. I was working with the geriatric population at the time, and they're all kind of frail and kind of tender, and they don't move fast. Some Sergeant Payne attitude. You will be better on my watch, yeah. Vibes, yeah. Stern. What was the word I was looking for? It was trapezoid. I was looking for a word to describe the expansions I put in on this, and they're four-sided objects with different lengths for each side. And in the video I said protozoa. No, that's not the right word. But I was looking for the word trapezoid. They both have Z's in them, in my defense. But I do know words, I promise. There's a lot of work to be done. It's going to take quite a bit of time. That's okay. I don't have nothing else to do but to be down here working on this stuff and knocking projects out. It's been, there I was counting the other day, in like, I've been streaming off and on. Hang on, this sound is awful. What? Next song. Good Lord. So, where was I? I was saying something. Oh, I was looking at all the projects I completed and made videos of, and just since I've started like focusing on making one video a day and getting work done down here. Only a few minutes on your next print. Very good, very good. I want to see that project when you're done. But even, I think the longest product so far was this cube, right? Which is cool, and we still gotta clean it, etch it, anodize it, right? So it's not actually done, but this and the two interwoven cubes, the two interlocked cubes, took me the longest amount of time. And other than that, right, there's been 6 or 7 other projects that just would have never been completed if I didn't make a point of coming down here and hanging out with you guys. So I appreciate you guys being here. Your goal is to keep posting it start to finish. There you go. Well, I just saw the video of your 3D print machine going there, Jeep and Jamber, and hopefully it'll pop up in my For You feed. All right, let's see here. So I want a 3D printer. I want a 3D printer because I have some stuff that I want to take immediately to, was it vacuum molding? And try and run a large-scale product off of it for multiple stores nationwide. So I need a 3D printer to do some trial testing before we go to plastic mold injection, and then we'll get there. but I need a 3D printer because I got to do some testing beforehand. Make sure the designs are correct and what materials are going to allow me to... Renee shared the live. Thank you so much for sharing. I do appreciate you. Sharing gets the word out, you know, that I'm streaming. Gets me in front of more people. And the sooner I get to 10,000, you know, the better I will be able to stream on TikTok. I won't have to use my phone. So please share. Like, follow, share the stream. I'm very demanding for a streamer, right? Because I'm like the stream, follow the stream, share the stream, go to my store, download my app. How big does it need to be? I honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do the transference of ideas without... I'd have to design it first and then send it. Where's your list of titles for the Church of Male Godfather Weave? Good Father of Weaves? It's on my phone. Oh, come on. What happened here? There we go. Alright, now, where's our edge that we were working on? There it is. Rough guess on size, 1 inch. What I have is not very big. What I'm working on. Yeah, what the abbot of aspect ratios, the monk of male, the bishop of bending. God, there were a few. All right. Ender 3 Pro should just be fine for that. Ah, yeah. Vicaren, hello, hello. How are you? For anyone watching on TikTok, I am streaming on multiple other normal streaming platforms where you can find me under the same username. We're doing all right tonight. Finally getting some work done. I didn't have much of a productive day, but that's all right. We're just talking about my long list of equipment that I need to add. What have we got so far? I've got a welder. I need the ability to make and cut my own coils and rings. Saw cut with like perfect cuts, right? I need an anodization setup. I want a laser. Everybody should have a laser. Need a 3D printer. And there is also the $10,000 tabletop water jet that I could probably find a use for somehow. So that's what we're doing. All right, where are we at? We're at 30 minutes. We're coming around on completing one row. That's not too bad. That's about 200 rings an hour, which is, for E4 and 1, that's not bad. Sharks with freaking laser beams on their head for everyone. If Sean is elected, get the word out. Yeah, that's right. Sharks with laser beams for everyone. You could win a campaign with that. All right. Oh. My back. All right. I've been informed that I have to go see a scary movie. I forget what it's called, or if it's a remake. It might be a new Exorcist or something. I'm not good with scary movies. The last one I saw was It. I don't vibe well with, like, it was a good movie, don't get me wrong, but I'll never watch it again, and wouldn't have watched it had someone else not wanted to watch it and didn't want to watch it alone. So I've got to figure out which movie that is and go see it. But the last time I was at the movies was to see the Mario movie. It's like Mario, the movie, and Legend of Zelda were the last two medias that I've been exposed to. The last time I checked, there wasn't any like kids movies going on at the theater. So usually I take my son and the neighbor kid, and we all go and get popcorn and drink a gallon of soda and it's fun. But I haven't seen anything like kid friendly come out, so. And I can't remember the last time I sat down to watch television. Last scary movie you saw was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So no bluffing here. I've seen that movie, and it's not something you see referenced a lot in pop media, right? But I was walking through the Meijer here in town, and there was a coffee cup with the Killer Clowns from Outer Space logo on it. I was like, holy crap. I think I took a picture of it. You normally don't watch scary movies? You don't like being scared? I don't like being scared either. Ever since I was 7 years old and got scared at the painting in Ghostbusters 2 and the marshmallow guy, and it's never been a. Couldn't read scary books. Like, you think Goosebumps, right? I read a lot growing up, because I lived in a rural area where we didn't have technology. And I read a lot, and the library had a lot of Goosebumps books, and I think I read one Goosebumps book, and that was it for me. It was the one about the ventriloquist doll that starts talking on its own. And then I never read another ventriloquist book after that. Or, another ventriloquist book. How many books on ventriloquism are there? There's probably at least 5, right? But I never read another Goosebumps book after that. Or any horror books. So. You don't like them because you don't think they are scary? I mean, now that I'm an adult, I can sit through them and watch them if I have to, but it's just not something I would choose to do on my own. Oh, come on, give me the ring. I trimmed my nails up the other day and now I can't grab these freaking rings. Oh, felt like a bad parent. I trimmed up my nails and then I realized that I hadn't cut my son's toenails in a while, and I went to check on him, seeing if, it had been as long as since the last time I remember doing it, and it had, and he had quite the eagle talons on his little toes. It's like, oh my gosh. Give me the ring, says Frodo. Yes, give me the ring, because I can't pick it up. I don't have nails anymore. But yeah. There. Yeah, so there is a scary movie I gotta go watch. I don't know what's coming out or which one it is. I'll find out. It's like something about something about growing up, scary movies and secondhand embarrassment. I think I've talked about this before. When you're watching a show and it gets so awkward on screen that you have to walk out because you have a physical reaction to what you're watching. Took me a while to get past both of those, but I'm mostly through it. Just not, like I said, not something I would pick to watch if I had my choice. Though it is the fall, and got your standard Halloween movies. The Great Pumpkin, Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline. You keep bumping send with your fat thumb. One of these days you'll sign onto your laptop to watch instead of your phone. Hey, whatever device you view it on, I just appreciate you being here. You want to say the last scary movie you watched was The Haunting of Emily Rose? I've never seen that. The Haunting of Emily Rose. What? I'm trying to think of other scary movies I've watched besides Ghostbusters 2 and It. And it was like The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage. I watched that. That was weird. And then something about an insane asylum, and a bunch of kids go in and they all die like one by one. I don't remember what the title of it is. It's pretty good. One of those based on a real story ones. Ugh. I think I saw, what's the show where the girl comes out of the TV? The Ring? Is that what it's called? I saw that. The Blair Witch Project, that was one I actually saw in theater back in the day. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, this is supposed to be scary. They're just walking through the woods. I don't get it. And that's like it for scary movies for me. And Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Seen that. Right. Did not manage to not get scared at Killer Clowns from Outer Space. and I'm sure I've seen a few others, but movies like Scream or Saw, I never had any interest in seeing. I will watch The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit extended editions over and over and over again before I would pick any scary movie. And that's pretty much what I do. I was just thinking the other day, I haven't sat down over a weekend and watched all three of The Lord of the Rings and all three of The Hobbits back to back, and not moved from my couch in a while, so feels like it's about time to do that. But there was, when I was at, what happened to music? Oh, it's still going. When I was at the clothing store earlier, we have a Kohl's. They did have some Harry Potter Lego sets. And I was like, there's no way I'm spending that amount of money for Harry Potter Lego sets at this time. But that reminded me that I need to save up $5 million for the Rivendell set from Lord of the Rings. Used to watch the Saw movies until like number 6 or whatever. Until that point, you actually thought the franchise was well made. I've never seen it. Because we watched Lord of the Rings and envisioned being a part of it. Horror movies, we were like, what? Club him, strangle him with the lamp, punt that Chucky doll. It's like 2 feet. How much power can it have? Yeah, exactly. I've never seen Chucky, Nightmare on Elm Street or anything. Or, okay, is it Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger? Is that the one? Someone tell me if that's correct, because I don't know. There's Jason and there's Freddy Krueger, right? And they both have these franchises that have gone on for years and years. One of them's Nightmare on Elm Street, and the other one is whatever the one Jason is in, right? So, anyway, Zach Coles, looking at Legos, Harry Potter sets, and remembered that I've got to save my pennies for the Rivendell set. So I don't own many Legos anymore. My son has a few, and we like to build Legos together. They're fun. But the Rivendell set is one of those things where it's just like, if I did spend a lot of money on something, that would be what I get. And also Lego Technic hot rods, because those are awesome. So if anybody wants to give me something for Christmas, cheaper to get a 3D metal printer and print it in die cast for way less than buying plastic Legos. Yeah, that's not fun at all. You could definitely do that. Alright, so Freddy Krueger, right? Once upon a time, when I was a young lad, I was working at a haunted house. And I was dressed as Freddy Krueger, placed in front of a TV, and there was some ropes that made it look like I was restrained, right? And on the TV was playing Barney. So people would walk by, and they'd see me looking like Freddy Krueger, restrained, trying to get out of watching Barney. And then right around the corner from me was a guy dressed up as an abominable snowman. So you'd go from laughing, haha, Freddy Krueger's stuck watching Barney, to bam, there's this giant 6 foot tall abominable snowman in your face. And he looked good for, 1990s makeup. But that's my Freddy Krueger story. All right. And yes, I worked at a haunted house for at least 2 years, maybe 3. And do not watch scary movies. So that adds up somehow, some way. I don't know how. Yeah, John said cheaper to get a 3D metal printer and print in die-cast, right? But die-cast makes me think of like miniatures and painting. So there's a lot of stuff I should have been into, right? Let's start with the Game of Thrones. Should have liked Game of Thrones. Did not. Dungeons and Dragons. Cannot play tabletop games to save my life. It's actually from trauma growing up in my household. What else? Painting miniatures. Definitely can't do it. I despise paint, working with paint as a media, for starters. Love what other people can do with it. Would rather do, stuff I can't verbalize on this platform, any of these platforms, than try and paint anything. So definitely no painting miniatures is my point. What else? What else am I not into? That it's like, oh, but you make chainmail, you should love blah blah blah. I don't know. Like, I enjoyed the Iron Man movies up until Endgame, and some of the other, Marvel movies and Avengers and whatnot, but never been interested in a comic book. Used to recreate wood grain with paints. Ugh. For damaged furniture. Yeah, no, you're a better person than me. I would not do that. So we painted our house down in Texas, and that was awful, for starters. And I swore that I would, if I ever moved again, I would just have a house with white walls, or whatever color the walls were when I moved into it. I was not going to decorate them. You could have the ugliest color stuck on one of my walls in this house, and it's yeah, I'm not lifting a finger. I will pay someone else to do it. But paint as a media and me do not mix in any way. I figure chainmail, leatherwork, and expanding on that reserves my nerd credentials, craftsman credentials, or artisan credentials, I don't know. Where are we at here? Your bad knee and your skateboard don't mix? Yeah, for real, right? Yeah, anything physical anymore, like Bahurt or LARPing or running around, the military pretty much took that ability away from me. So, it's like I'm not old, but I've got a lot of mileage. This is the there's something in my eye game. Ow. All right. It's probably an eyelash. In between the cervical radiculopathy and the displaced discs and vertebrae in my neck, dislocated, not displaced also, but more dislocated. That something in your eye would be your finger. Well, yes, but that was there after something else fell in there. But yeah, so couple injuries to my neck pretty much prevents me from doing any kind of LARPing or combat fighting, anything like that. So I enjoy watching it. There's a couple people that I follow that are really into it, and it's fun to watch them all beat the crap out of each other. Oh, so I made a video last night of it's the cap cut theme of the kid saying, "Don't talk to me, don't come to my house," right? For people that tell me this isn't real chainmail, right? And someone didn't listen to the instructions of the video, and they talked to me. It was just one person, though. I don't think that video didn't get too far, but it's like, but it isn't real chainmail. Like, okay. Make sure you say that to every chainmail artist you come across on this platform, over and over and over again, repeatedly, until we all stop making chainmail. It's like I've seen threads with 10,000 comments in it discussing the ins and outs and the virtues of what is real chainmail. It's like, it's just a joke for me at this point. Because here's the thing, right? It's a very tangible thing I'm working on that follows all the rules and stipulations of any of the chainmail that's come before it, from when it was developed by the Etruscans 2,000 some odd years ago, right? So it's definitely real. But there's the crowd. I haven't run into this yet recently here on TikTok. There's groups of people that are like, well, chainmail is just, you don't need to say it. It's not the right word. It's just mail, right? And so if what I'm making isn't real chainmail, it's not actually chainmail. And chainmail is the wrong word for what I'm not making, then doesn't that like de facto make this in actuality chainmail? Does that make sense? Hope I explained that correctly. People always tell you you would not have the patience for that, or isn't that boring? Is it boring? It can be. Like, depends on what you make. If you just make the same thing over and over and over again, that's boring, right? Like, I've got 10 bracelets. 10? 7? 9? I don't know. I got a bunch of bracelets over there that I made, and making those was boring because, right, they are the same thing over and over and over again. Right? But I'm making cubes and dice bags and inlays and jewelry and whatever I want. So I definitely don't consider it boring. You love doing tedious crafts, but yes, after a while it can be boring. So I switch it up and make different things. You switch it up, you make different things, and then you stumble across a hobby you've never seen before, and you learn everything about that hobby, and then you buy all the stuff that you need for that hobby, and then you make a bunch of stuff, and then when you get tired of making the same stuff over and over and over again, you find a new hobby, and you go and learn all about that hobby, and it's, I don't have a problem. What are we talking about? You have like 15 hobbies. Yeah. Yes, you do. You're just collecting skills. You'll just have a skill and it'll be handy one day. Alright, so that's 2 rows in an hour. You don't like being called out like that? I'm sorry, Megan. I'm not calling you out. I'm just making sure that you know you're not alone. It's totally normal to be that way, right, guys? Yeah. Good to know. Good. All right. Good Lord. Okay, where are we at? 9:30. We've done 1 row an hour. 1 row is 96 rings, so we're holding steady at 200 rings an hour. you're not necessarily jack of all trades because got kind of good at everything you do. It's a way to do it. There's a lot of stuff that like I learned out of necessity because I wanted to do something, and then I got progressively better over time. I would say that my leather work still sucks, but I still do it. It doesn't stop me. It's definitely better than when I first started. Alright, so 200 rings an hour. How does that break down? How many rings is that a minute? Right? I can't do the math in my head. That's 3 1/4 rings a minute. 3 1/3, 3 1/6, 3 1/6 rings per minute, which is, it doesn't seem very fast, but oh, allergies. Oh. Okay. Ugh. Bless me. 3.33, yeah, so that's close. Doing the math in my head. Sorry, I sneezed and I lost train of thought on everything. My brain will reboot and we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming here in a second as my mentation realigns itself. It's like you sneeze and it's a whole system dump. Alright, so if it's 100 rings an hour, right, each row is roughly 100 rings, and we got to do 16 rows. Is it 8 rows or 16? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'd probably do like 8, 12, or 16. It wouldn't matter. You thought you heard dial-up? It's like walking into a new room and completely forgetting why you walked in there. Yeah. That doesn't happen to me all the time. So what am I doing? You gotta look at what's in your hands to figure out what it is that you have cleaning supplies in your hand and you walk in the bathroom. You're going to clean the mirror or something. It's like, oh, what'd I come in here for? Oh, I've got Windex in my hand. Probably here to clean the mirror. It's like you have to deduce. John Drakel, thank you for sharing the live. You have to deduce what you're doing. It's like every time you walk into a new room, you've got to become the guy that says, "Elementary, my dear Watson." What is his name? Not Inspector Gadget, not the Great Mouse Detective, the other detective. Sherlock Holmes. That's it. Oh, the Great Mouse Detective. That's such a good movie. I should watch that again. Chicken. You will literally forget what you're doing, smack in the middle of doing whatever it is that I'm doing. Yeah. Sherlock, thank you. I gotta turn this sound down just a bit. Okay. This one song is louder than all the others for some reason. That's always fun when you're like scrolling TikTok and you already volume up because the videos have been kind of quiet, and then you get the one video that just blasts out of your phone and wakes up people 3 houses down. It's like, what in the world are you recording with? Or here's my favorite. When you're watching a TV show and the TV show's at the volume you set it at, and then a commercial pops on, and the volume's just jacked up for the whole commercial. It's like, why does it do that? Oh, because they realize that you fall asleep during the show, and so they want to wake you up so that they can advertise to you. So you never actually end up watching your show. You just fall asleep and then wake up to the advertisements. All right. Oh. Okay, so earlier I said 100 rings per row. We need to do 8 rows, 12 or 16, some variation of that, right? And it can be any number of rows. I could close up the dice bag right now, but that would be silly, right? So, and then I was thinking in my head, if I did 16 rows, that would be 16 hours. But no, we just discussed how we're cruising at about 200 rings an hour, so it would only be 8 hours. Plus, I've already done 3 rows, so it would be less time than that to go all 16 rows, which would be a good project for this. That would use up most of my rings, I think. I don't know. I'd have to weigh them out. Do a guess on how many rings I've used up and how many I have left. So that would kind of tell me how many rows I should make it. Like 16 may be too many. It also may not be enough. But visually, right, so we're 8 rows out from where the expansion started, right? The kind of unofficial bottom of the top goes out 8 rows. Then I was thinking go down 16 for the side body, and then in another 8 to close it off, right? 8 and some change. And that should give us a decent dice bag. Plus whatever the... So I've got this strip of elf weave around the top, and I want to do a strip of elf weave around the bottom. But, and I talked about this in a video I just made before this and right at the beginning of the stream. So, let's see here. Let's see if we can flip this inside out quickly. This elf weave protrudes out from the body of the dice bag. But if I keep it like that, then the top really wants to close in on itself, and that's not what I'm going for. But if I do this on the bottom, right, and flip this inside out, because on the top, it kind of wants to make everything open up. And I'd show you if I could flip this back around. Alfonso5705 shared the live. Thank you so much. Come on. Alright. Project's over. It's stuck as is. Oh my gosh. It's being so... such a pain in the butt. Here. That's not the word I want to use. The word I want to use is very bad. There, see. if you're looking at the top, it holds everything out, kind of opens it up nicely, and then as I had it flipped around before, it should close it back in, right? Plus it'll have this prominent elf weave sticking up out of it, so that should be cool. Should be. All right, where were we? I wasn't done with my next row. There it is. All right, did you see what I said yesterday at the end of the stream about the elf weave? No. Maybe? But I wouldn't be able to tell you whether I had or hadn't, because yesterday is gone, and everything that was with yesterday is gone. So, take the rings out for the elf weave and anodize them separately for a two-tone effect. Oh, you know what? I would love to do that. I really, really would. Right? But that's like more effort than I'm willing to put into this dice bag. Like anodize it a different color and then just to make it pop a little bit. Okay, so we're going on the assumption that these rings will anodize at all in the first place. Okay, they're a lot softer than the ones in this cube. I know that they're titanium. At least that is what I ordered, and I was sent them. And I believe they're titanium, but they are not springy at all, right? So I don't know what grade they are. I don't know how different grades of titanium anodize differently than others, because I have no experience anodizing anything ever. So what we're going for, just not gray. And if we get just not gray, once we anodize this, I think that I'm going to be pretty happy with it. Now, if this were a production piece that I was making for someone and I had the skill to anodize, that would be a different thing. There are brushes that you can use to anodize certain parts and not others. I know that they have those. I don't know how well they would work in this scenario. But I don't have an anodizer yet, much less a anodizing brush. So it would be cool, don't get me wrong, but I think we're setting our expectations too high with that one. And what I would prefer is to have anodized rings that didn't lose their anodization when I open them up, like all of these. Okay? So that I could do something like that without having to anodize it later. Right? I don't want to sound like I'm coming up with excuses as to why I can't, but it's a good idea. I would if I could. I mean, I could, but it would also involve me doing a whole lot of extra work on top of what I've already done for a project that is supposed to be just using up rings. Second piece off the printer is looking fantastic. Right on, man. I can't wait to see the whole thing. I think I need one of those. Put it up on the walls down here in the basement. I've got a Zelda poster up from Ocarina of Time. Got a Pirate Queen, a couple of Frank Frazetta lithographs, painting by my mom, and then a bunch of chainmail stuff, and a Hylian shield would go well down here. Zach Mo shared the live. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Yeah, there are a number of ways to go about highlighting the elf weave sections so that they pop. But I don't have any skill in what I'm attempting to do, and as a first kind of run of working with anodizing titanium and not being sure whether or not this titanium can be anodized or will anodize, I'm just going for not gray. Right, because having the elf weave across the top and bottom, right? Like, it may be a subtle cool factor that no one notices ever, but when someone does, right, they'll see it. They'll go, oh, wow. Someone knew what they were doing, and I'll have them totally fooled because they don't know what I'm doing. But they'll be like, yeah, wow, this is really good. Well, you're going to start the biggest piece tomorrow after your new roll of filament arrives. You might do another small piece tonight. There you go. We'll definitely share that image with me somehow. Once you get it done, I'll put together because I would like to see it. I think 3D printing is cool as shit. It's one of those things where you can apply your own skill and come up with stuff. Excuse me. Oh, man. All right, so what was that? I was saying... Oh, it's all okay. Over there. Nope, I sneezed and it's all gone now. You can PM to you if it doesn't come across your FYP. Please do. Or just, you know, if you post a video of it, just tag me in the video or something. Okay. D2D6192 follow the host. Thank you for the follow. We are cruising on our way up to 10,000 follows so that I can use my PC to go live on TikTok instead of my phone, right? So yeah. Thank you for the follow. That is equally doable. Yeah, definitely do it. Are you kidding? It's a Hylian shield. That's cooler than what I'm making. Oh yeah, 3D printers. That's what we were talking about. So definitely want one. There are very few 3D printer individuals that I follow. And I try to avoid people who are printing the same stuff that everyone else is printing, right? Like, I understand that it's fun to let me differentiate between the two, right? Like, someone who gets a 3D printer and just prints a bunch of stuff that everyone else has done, fine, right? It's when they're printing a bunch of stuff and making the same stuff as everyone else and trying to sell it. And it's like, everybody does this. Did I see the message above about when would probably the best time to get one? Oh, Cyber Monday? Yeah. That requires funding. That is a project that is going to need some dedicated time and effort into raising the money for it. As are all of these projects, because I'm poor. So, go to my store and buy my stuff. Like, follow, share, download the app, go to the store, buy my stuff. I do have a design. I finally came up with a not commercial, but something to say along with the design. So I'm gonna make a video about that. I'm gonna order one and make a video with it. You too? Yeah. Everybody's poor right now, man. Where are we at here? You know what I need to do? I need to add an Amazon wish list to my link tree. That's what I need to do. And maybe some loving, kind, beautiful benefactor will come along and just buy me some of the more expensive things that I need. All right. All I need is to win the lottery, to catch the eye of a rich person, to stumble upon the end of a rainbow, get hit by a car and win millions in an insurance payout, which I'd rather not do, obviously. Or do what I'm doing now, which is shill my stuff. Haha, show your stuff? You want to see some stuff? Alright. What do I have in reach? I've got... It's hard to show. For the people on TikTok who are following along, this is one of the chainmail themed apparel pieces that is this is actually not available right now. I don't think any of my hoodie designs are available because the printer was awful. Alright. This is one of the hooded blankets, right? Printed and shipped in the U.S. This is actually an Irish flag with a harp on it. So, if you're watching on the main streaming platforms, where's it at? It's a hooded blanket with a harp on it, and then Irish flag. Right, here's some of the masks that we had going on. You need one of those for camping? Yes, you do. For real, those would be great for camping. They're great, right? Wash, hang dry. Wash on gentle, hang dry. But yeah. The see here. The hooded blankets are ridiculously warm, right? The mask worked really well, you know, for masks. They have the hoodies, the cloaks, and the hooded blankets all have what's called a Sherpa lining, and it's just really warm. And they have really cool designs on the outside. Impromptu commercial time. Impromptu commercial time. I need to do more of those. Thank you for asking me to share my stuff. I need to make it a point to bring that up. And I need more stuff to show off. Yeah. So we've got coffee cups and what else? I don't even know. I need to get into my store and... Do you need a show and tell timer? Yeah. Just like every 30 minutes, do an impromptu... What's that? Do an impromptu home shopping network segment. And if you order now... That'd be cool. I should do that. Because I don't post about or make enough noise about my own stuff. But that's okay. Like if I never get rich off the stuff that I make, and all I do is expose people to the art of chainmail, right? But also I have a lot of cool like chainmail themed apparel and accessories that I can just rock whenever I go out. I'd totally be okay with that. You know, most of the time, people that pop up in here are other chainmail people. They're like, oh, you make chainmail. I've done that too, yeah, and we talk a little bit, right? And occasionally I'll get someone who's like, yo, what is that? That's cool. Amazing. And they get hyped. And I can sense that they have the same hyped that I had when I was 14 years old and I first saw someone doing this. Your wife would ask, does it come in pink with hearts? I mean, I have pink stuff. The one thing that has a heart on it is a hoodie with a jelly cube with part of it removed so that it makes a heart. It's kind of cool. Hearts are tricky. They're not tricky. I'm just dumb and bad at inlays. That's the reality. I've attempted a few different heart designs, and it did not. Ended up just wasting my time. But that's okay. I will get it eventually. All right. And now that I'm able to spend time down here and can focus on things like design and on making projects and stuff, more designs will be coming soon. I've actually got one that I might have to buy a whole new dang computer for, but I'm gonna get it done, that I'm working on right now. Right? Alright. Let's see here. So this is where we're at. We added 3 rows, roughly, what, 200 and, what's 96 plus 96 plus 96? 288? So we added 288 rings, roughly, in about an hour and a half. Okay, and we've got the expansion, we've got the top done. I do enjoy how this is sitting. It's sitting pretty. And we'll take it down a few more rows, build the body of the dice bag. It's actually huge. I thought the mouth of the dice bag being 3 inches wide was small. So I'm glad it's only this big and I didn't, expand it further. So this is going to end up being pretty large of a dice bag, but that's okay. It'll use up most of the rest of these rings in here, and we're trying to get rid of them anyway. You feel like it could work with a 6-in-1 pattern? What could work in a 6-in-1 pattern? What did I say? I must have said something. Or are you talking about the hearts design? Maybe. I haven't tried a 6-in-1 pattern. So. Alright. Alright, everyone. It is getting to be that time where I gotta go and get ready for the evening. Yes, the hearts. Okay, yeah. It could work in a 6-in-1. It could work in a 4-in-1. The things that I've tried to do did not work out. That's all. Not that it can't work, just what I was trying to do did not. It was like a bunch of overlapping hearts, and I don't know if I got confused or it just looked terrible at the end, so let's see here. All right. Flip this camera around. All right, everyone. So, I don't know if I'm going to be on tomorrow. I haven't set a streaming time, but so far it's kind of been between 8:30 till about 10:30. And that's been working out, so we'll try and keep it there. The problem with having a set schedule right now is I can't ensure that it's going to be held to. So, for everyone, I do appreciate you all being here. If you like chainmail content, please like, follow, share the stream, share my videos. Help me get to 10,000 followers so that I can not use my phone. I can just stream from my PC because I enjoy having my phone at another angle. However, it's, kind of absurd. And if you want to learn how to make chainmail, please go to the Linktree and check out the Mailworks app that has a bunch of resources for you. I have spoken with Google, and it should be back up there Now you should be able to view it and download it, but if you can't because you have a newer Android phone, that update is coming. I finally figured, I got word from Google as to what was wrong, and so it's going to be fixed, and then we'll update it, and it should be running just fine. And also, please go check out mailworks.com, where you can find all your chainmail themed apparel and accessory needs. And I will talk to you all later. All right, you guys all have a wonderful evening. Bye. All right, guys. We'll see you all later. Bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. I wish I had like one of those zoom out things that, right? But I don't have that. I got